The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email tom@guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
Well, let's just keep doing this thing because, well, nobody can stop us because nobody's the boss of us. Tom Gresham here. It's Gun Talk. We're having a bunch of fun. We're talking about, well, guns and shooting and open carry and what's going on in Congress and your stories about the guns that you like, the ones that you've been taking out. What have you been shooting? Any new gear you bought recently? I always love to get those range reports. Our number here, very easy to remember because I'm named Tom. So just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. If you're on a cell phone, leave off the 1. Just dial Tom Talk Gun. That'll get you in here. 866-825-5486. If you're new to this, let me just tell you, Gun Talk, been around for 20 years. We're on the air all over the country. More than 200 radio stations, podcasts. You can archive it. You can download it. You can listen to it whenever you want. There's just an awful lot of ways to get a hold of it. Actually, now we have a cool new way for if you miss a show or you want to listen to a past show, just do it with your Gun Dealio app. It's free. You just go to either Google Play or the Apple App Store and download Gun Dealio, D-E-A-L-I-O. And it's all one word, Gun Dealio. And you can listen to the radio show with that. You can watch our videos. And also the main thing is you get good deals on guns, ammo, scopes, all that other kind of stuff, because that's what Gun Dealio is really all about. Our number, 866 Talk Gun. John's called in from West Leechburg, Virginia on 3. Hey, John, you're on Gun Talk.
West Leechburg, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. It's not a VA, it's a PA. Okay, I got a VA on the screen and not a PA. Sorry about that.
That's okay. All right, I have an answer for your question.
All right.
Where do people learn their weird ideas about guns?
Okay.
All right, so last year I have family come down from Cleveland. They're camping out in my house because they had tickets for the Pittsburgh Pirates, not the Virginia ones.
Touche.
Okay, so, my cousin's son, and he's in his mid to late 20s, college graduate. That's important to remember here.
Okay.
So, he's asking me all about guns. You can't help but, with the deer heads, the elk, and a half a dozen bears. Yeah, I own a couple of guns.
Got it.
But, well, do you own any handguns? Yes, I do. And I says, I keep a loaded one, all the time here for self-defense, and I have a, personal protection or a permit to carry. I says, and then I ask him, and I says, have you ever fired a gun? He said, no, I just wind up shooting myself. I says, well, okay, well, I if you have proper training, it's not going to happen. Well, he's now terrified of guns. I just wind up shooting myself. And then he goes, and it's a proven fact that people who defend themselves, most of them wind up getting killed with their own gun. And I says, now, where did you learn that? Remember what I just told you to remember? He's a college graduate, and that's what he was taught by his professors. And I says, I looked at him, I says, John, I says, the only way someone's going to kill me with my own gun is if I empty the gun on them and miss, and they grab it off me and beat me to death with the empty gun.
Well, and the problem is a lot of college kids don't know enough or don't have what it takes to do what I did one time in a college class when I stood up in the middle of a class and the department head was teaching the class. I stood up and just said, now wait just a GD minute. And it got really quiet in class because he had started out about people who like guns. And so we went at it right then and there. But if nobody calls them on it, these professors keep repeating this garbage The idea that people get killed with their own guns when used in self-defense more than they use them in self-defense, of course, we know it's not just wrong, it's silly wrong. It's so preposterous. That'd be like saying that, most people who drive cars end up killing themselves in their cars. And everybody would go, well, that's just stupid. We know that's not true. And our reaction is, well, that's just stupid. We know that's not true. But if that's all they've ever heard. John, look, I appreciate the call. It's an excellent point. The point here being, people can only base an opinion upon what they hear. It is one of the reasons, and I know that you hear me talk about this all the time, that I talk about the media so much. Because if people form their opinions on what they hear, and they do, then you have to have free access to information. If that information is filtered to promote one side or the other, then the public can't make an informed decision. That's why media misinformation, sometimes because they're ignorant, oftentimes because they are biased, is so important. And that's why we created the Truth Squad many years ago. So the GUNTALK Truth Squad, those are us who just said, we're not going to put up with this anymore. We're not going, every time they say something stupid like, people who, try to defend themselves with their own guns, they end up getting killed. We then react to that and we challenge the media and we don't let that be repeated. And we tell them, look, you just embarrassed yourself, on the air. I mean, it's so demonstrably untrue as to make you look pretty foolish out there. So I appreciate that. But yes, it's true. People can only work with the information they have. And here's one of the things. How would you know that what you're being fed is not true? If you don't actively go out and seek contrary information. And if it's not your area, if it's not an area that you're really keen on, that you're really interested in, you probably aren't. You're just going to say, yeah, well, that's just true. I've always heard that. So there you go. All right, let's do this. Take a quick break, and we come back, take your calls, and we're also going to be talking about some training. 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back. If you're looking for a safe and trusted way to sell your firearms, look no further than Dury's Gun Shop. I trusted them to sell my dad's collection. They built their business for over 50 years on honesty and customer service. Dury's Guns will buy any size collection or estate, none too big or too small. Selling your firearms to Dury's Guns is easy. Go with the pros. I trust Dury's Guns. DurysGuns.com.
Be sure to watch NRA Freedom Friday from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. with Freedom Fighters, American Air Gunner, ATSN Stop the Threat, Gun Talk TV, Championship Season, Guns and Gear TV. Watch NRA's Freedom Friday only on the Pursuit Channel, where we deliver the outdoors.
The Ruger LCRX is a variation of the LCR that features an external hammer, allowing it to be fired in single action mode. The LCRX can also be fired in double action mode. It features a monolithic frame made from aerospace grade 7000 series aluminum, a patented Ruger friction reducing cam that results in a smooth, non-stacking trigger pull, and a patent pending polymer fire control housing that significantly reduces weight and helps reduce recoil. The Ruger LCRX Revolver, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
The world can be a dangerous place. Gear up with the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. Equipping your firearm with laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com and receive a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge. Crimson Trace.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Battle Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com.
It's time for the Brownells Trivia Question. Brownells, serious about firearms since 1939. Are you a gun know-it-all? Well, you may have a chance to win the Brownells GUNTALK FN SCAR 17S Dream Gun and a trip to the NRA show in Louisville, Kentucky, May 19th through the 22nd. Here we go. Which was the first Colt handgun purchased by the U.S. Army? 1911, Colt Patterson, or 1851 Navy? To answer and have a chance to win, go to brownells.com/guntalk. That's brownells.com/guntalk. When it comes to firearms, Brownells has more, knows more, and does more, and guarantees it all forever. Brownells is serious about firearms.
When we talk about training, firearms training, self-defense firearms training specifically, there are a lot of ways to go. You can find a local person. You can go to one of the big schools. People are changing. People are doing different things these days. The clientele is different than it was, say, 10 years ago. We have so many more people who are wanting serious self-protection training, not just a concealed carry class, which some are okay at their very best. Some are abysmal in terms of actual training. You need to go get some additional training. Simple as that. But as the clientele out there has changed, some are making changes in the way that they train. So I thought we'd bring in Tiger McKee from Shootrite Academy in Alabama to talk about that. Tiger, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, sir?
Well, I am great. I got your notice that you're making some changes to accommodate the way that the people, the public, they're changing. So you might just talk a little bit about what you have noticed, what people are doing, and what they're looking for, and what you're changing.
In the past few years, we do group classes that are regularly scheduled, and then we offer private tutorials for individuals or for small groups. Mm-hmm. And in the past few years, the trend has been that we're getting more and more people that are wanting to do the private instruction, especially like families and stuff like that. And so what we're going to do is sort of cut down the number of group classes that we offer and open up more dates for private instruction. And then at the same time, we're lowering our cost for the private instruction. And it's kind of two-part. One, that's the trend, but also I've found that I really like teaching the smaller classes more because I really get to teach as opposed to just instructing, and I get to spend a lot of individual time with each student.
Give me an idea. I'm kind of guessing here, but just an idea of how much farther you can progress if you had a one-on-one or a one-on-two. Say you had two students there.
Sure.
Could you get maybe in an organized class with 10 or 15 people where it might take 2 days, could you get that done in 1 day, for instance?
Yes, sir. Usually in 1 day, and a lot of this, depends on the student and where we're starting at and all that. Mm-hmm. But usually in 1 day, we can cover like 2 days of material or sometimes even 3 days of material if it's just a 1 or 2 or 3 people class.
So give me an idea of what do people want in their training? What are you offering? What do you do with somebody in a 1 or 2 day tutorial like that?
We always kind of start just from the basics because that gives me an idea of where the students are at, and it gives them sort of a clue of where I'm coming from as far as the teaching and all that stuff. So no matter who it is, we always start with the basics. For some people, it's all new material. For others, it's a review, and we're fine-tuning the fundamentals. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of it depends on what the students want. A lot of times they'll come with specific applications. They want to focus on concealed carry. So we'll do drills that you would find in mimicking real life with moving targets. You might be having to start out from a chair. You're in a restaurant sitting, so you have to work your way up. how to draw from concealment, how to carry, offering holster advice and all that type stuff. But with the smaller groups, you can really fine-tune it to their particular needs.
Well, now, you just announced this, I guess a couple of weeks ago. Is it too early to get some reaction, or what are people saying about this?
So far, the response has been very positive. We sent it out on our Shootrite email list, which is previous students and everything. Mm-hmm. So we haven't really, this would be our official announcement, you would say. So you're getting the scoop here. But it's been very positive. Like I said, we're also lowering the price on private instruction to make it more affordable. And, everybody's all for that because we recognize that times are tough out there economically for everybody. There's a significant cost for ammunition for a class. Mm-hmm. So making the training more affordable, we're hoping that that's going to bring in more students. And at the same time, we're going to be able to teach the way I like to.
So give me an idea. How much is the price coming down?
It's coming down significantly. What we're doing is for 1 to 3 people, the cost is going to be $500 per day. I'm sorry, 1 to 2 people is $500 per day. And that's almost a 50% discount from what we have been charging the last few years.
Yeah, you've been charging $900 a day, so that's huge. You mentioned ammo. I just did not think about that. But, when you're in a bigger class, sometimes you're just doing a repetition of drawing and shooting so that the instructors can watch other people. And they're, in this case, if it's just 1 or 2 people, they only have to shoot as much as they need to for you to be able to see what they're doing and start working on that.
Exactly. If there's 2 people in the class, then each one of them is getting 50% of my attention. Versus if there's 10 people in a class, you would think, well, that's 10%. But then also you have to realize the majority of that time is spent me calling out and running drills and that type stuff. So for the money, it's like an incredible return for your time. You're not shooting as much ammo, although then in smaller classes with some students, we shoot a lot. But ammo is always cost factor.
It's a factor. Consider. Well, and you mentioned time. That's the other thing. People say, I can't get away for a 3-day class. I just can't do that. But I got a day. What can you do in a day? So, if it's just you or you and a buddy or you and your wife, we can cover a lot of ground in a day if it's just us.
Definitely. We can take somebody that's brand new to shooting, and by the end of the day have them applying the fundamentals for self-defense, like moving, communicating, shooting accurately, manipulating the weapon, reloads, malfunctions, and all of that type stuff just in one day.
Now, you're one of the top trainers in the country. I mean, I've worked with you a good bit and worked with a lot of people, so I have a basis for comparison. I'm going to ask you, we had a discussion a couple of weeks ago where the guy was saying, if it's all going to be over in two seconds, you might as well just give up and die because nobody can draw and shoot a gun in 2 seconds. And I kind of had to laugh. When you take somebody in there, if they have any shooting experience, after a full day of instruction, you would be kind of surprised, wouldn't you, if they couldn't draw and get a shots on target in 2 seconds?
Well, not only that, but also we're teaching them techniques that are going to put the threat into a reactive mode, which buys you time to do more stuff, assess, make better decisions. So it's not just about how quick you can draw the pistol and put hits on the target or the threat. Mm-hmm. It's about, okay, what can I do to sort of reset their clock back to the beginning so now they're having to react to me, which gives me time to do better stuff.
And you do that by moving primarily, don't you?
That's one of the good ways, moving, and then, of course, using cover. You're issuing verbal commands, which sometimes will throw somebody off, an attacker off. If it's low light, you're using the flashlight to create temporary blindness and use that to your advantage. So there's all kind of things, but generally moving is one of the best ideas.
So where are you still doing this at your place in Alabama?
Oh, yeah, we're here. We're doing a little traveling, so, we can always set up courses off-site, and I kind of like to still travel a little bit and see a little bit of the country, so mostly here, but then we're open for travel as well.
And it's the best way to find you is on the website, Shootrite, and it's SHOOT. I can't even spell. It's SHOOTRITE. It's RITE.org. We'll get you to the website there. And now, for those who wonder, you teach handguns. I mean, you'll teach whatever they want to use, shotguns or rifles, but you do a lot of work, advanced work with carbines. So a lot of people are thinking, I've got an AR, I bought it, I don't really know what I'm doing with it. You can help out there.
Yes, sir. Not only help out with what to do with the rifle, but also tips on maintenance, cleaning, upgrades and that type stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, sounds good. Tiger, I think it's an exciting change, and I think you're absolutely tapped into what's going on with the marketplace right now. I think a lot of people are saying, I don't have a lot of time, but I do want the instruction. I want to get as far as I can and as quick as I can. And if I can come in with, me and a buddy or me and my wife, and let's do team tactics, we can learn things a day or two there. That's money and time really well spent. And then dropping the price is incredible. Congratulations. I think you're on the leading edge of this, my friend.
Well, I appreciate it. We're always trying to do better so that we can get more people training. There
you go. I appreciate it. Listen, you take care. We will see you a little bit further up the creek, as they say.
Have a good one.
All right, you take care. Tiger McKee, if you want to see him teaching, get a little bit of that, go pick up his DVD. It's called Fighting with the 1911, but it's really about fighting with a pistol. You go to our website, shopguntalk.com, shopguntalk.com. We actually have some combos. You can get the concealed carry DVDs as well as Tigers. But, man, the guy can flat out teach. Some people are natural-born teachers, and he's one of those. Yeah, he can shoot, and he can do all the rest of that stuff, but he knows how to impart the information. And I'm just imagining doing one-on-one with – well, I don't have to imagine it. I was actually in his area a couple of years ago, and I called and said, you got any time? He says, I got a half a day. I said, I'll buy it. And I paid him retail price and went and did a half a day with him on carbines. Stunning. Just amazing what you can learn in one-on-one stuff. All right, 866-TALK-GUN is the number here. 866-TALK-GUN, or shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. We're open lines for you. Give me a call right now on Gun Talk.
Broadcasting nationwide, you're listening to Gun Talk. And now, back to Tom.
All right, let me tell you a quick story here. About, 8 years ago, I think it's just about 7 or 8 years ago, we're starting to do our online videos, guntalk.tv, before we did our TV shows and everything else. So I'd made the switch from print. I was doing guns and ammo, shooting times, all of those. And then, of course, I produced and created, directed, hosted TV shows for a lot of different people. I said, well, I'm going to go out and do that on our own. And one of the things we did was we worked with some other shooters. And again, 8 years ago, and we had this young woman come down to Natchitoches, Louisiana, and shoot with us, competitive shooter. Didn't know her, didn't know how it's going to work. And first time, to put cameras in front of her, so I don't know what. We did the first piece, and I said, just if you would, just kind of shoot this and turn around and tell us a little bit about that. And she did the most amazing one-time stand-up in front of the camera, and I said, okay, this person is somebody special. And boy, did I ever turn out to be right. We're joined right now by champion shooter and ambassador for the shooting sports, Julie Golob. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Oh, my gosh, what an intro. You make me blush.
Do you,
I'm good,
do you,
thanks. How
do
are
you
you?
even remember? Do you remember that?
Of course I do. You treated me to some great southern Louisiana food, and it was a great time.
Well, you, I don't know how much you had done before, but let me just tell you, as a guy who has produced a lot of TV, we just turned the cameras on, and you did, you do an open, you'd shoot it, you turn around, you'd describe it, you do a perfect close, and I'm going, holy smoke, I have people that I've worked with for years who can't do that. You did it first time out of the box. You have not just become a top shooter and somebody that everybody knows. You have become the queen of social media when it comes to shooting, because that's my kind way of saying I can't get away from you. You're everywhere.
I love social media because it is a way for us to reach potential gun owners or connect with shooters from all over the world. So, I guess I got my flair for it when I was living in remote Montana. Didn't get to see very many people, so I turned to the internet.
Now, you have moved back to Middle America, have you not?
I am. I'm in Missouri, Kansas City area.
Yeah, love it. And I went to school at Mizzou about 112 years ago, so I understand. So, let me just tell people, give them an idea. You cover so many different subjects in your outreach. And a lot of what you do, yes, you are a full-time professional shooter, which is amazing, and you're exceptionally good at it. But we have, for instance, a lady in our office, and she is now pregnant, and we were talking about shooting. I said, well, look, don't have to ask me. I just sent her, said, here's a PDF that Julie put together about shooting when you're pregnant. I didn't have to do anything. You'd done all the work for me. But that's the kind of thing that you do all the time.
I'm very, very fortunate to get to do the things that I love and take my ideas and have an audience for them. And most of it revolves around shooting or hunting or eating or...
Yeah, a lot of cooking and eating there. Yes, I noticed that. Yeah.
Yes.
So if people want to follow you or find out what you're up to, and I would encourage anybody to do this because they're going to, number one, get to know you, which in and of itself is worthwhile, but also going to learn a lot. What's the best way of all the ways of reaching out?
Probably through my website because it has all of the links to your favorite, social, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, and all of that. And that's juliegolob.com.
Okay, and it's JULIEGOLOB.com. I didn't bug you because I saw you at Bianchi Cup, but Bianchi is serious stuff. That's like we're not messing around there. And so we were shooting video. We have some video of you on the show, but I said, I am not going to bother you because when you're in the zone, and that's a place where you've got to have your head right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's work time. That's not play time. It's time to get things done, and you have to be 100% focused on the task at hand.
Exactly. How much do you shoot every year?
I try to get in 3 to 4 range sessions a week. Sometimes that doesn't work because I have little ones or I have to travel to do other things. But ideally, that's what I strive for. And I usually shoot about between 30 and 50,000 rounds a year, depending on the year.
Okay, now that you also have to balance that out with, they're doing stuff with the NRA, you're doing stuff with NSSF, you're doing stuff with everybody these days. You've got your own, your JulieG.TV, you're doing videos with everybody. It's kind of like, I'm not kidding when I tell you people, you really are everywhere, but what's happened is you have become, and this is where I want to go with this, for a lot of people, you have become the face of shooting 2.0.
Wow.
That's a good thing because for a lot of people, traditionally, for those who don't know, you were in the Army Marksmanship Unit. You know the whole deal. If it was a man's world, it's a man's world. It's a man's world. And for a lot of people in the media and a lot of people in the public, shooting is guys. It's old guys. It's, blah, blah, blah. And then they see, here's this young mother who's active and smart and cooking and doing, blogging and social media and all that, and go, this is the face. It's not that you're unusual. It's just they haven't seen it. You are the new shooter. Fair enough?
I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily the new shooter because I think that there have been people around there doing all of these things, but I guess I'm a little bit better at telling people about it.
Okay.
But, I think that it's really a neat time because we do have that traditional male shooting environment, and that's always going to be the case. But more and more we're seeing women out there, and that growth is exponential. We're seeing people from different ethnic backgrounds, and nothing is the norm anymore about shooting, and that is an awesome thing to see.
Nothing is what?
the norm. There's no stereotypes. It's everything is so expanding now because you see people from all walks of life in shooting, and what a great way to bond with not only the doctors and lawyers, but the people who own mechanic shops or tattoo artists. And it's such an exciting time for the shooting world.
Boy, it really is. Julie, hold on a second. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back. Let's talk a little bit about shooting and what you've been up to and where you're headed next. We're talking with Julie Golob. If you want to check out her website, it's juliegolob.com. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
An exciting breakthrough from Mossberg lets you customize your 500 pump-action shotgun in seconds. Get a better fit. Add features. Mossberg's Flex System lets you swap out stocks, fore ends, and recoil pads. Want a pistol grip? Got it. Longer or shorter stock? No problem. Go from hunting to tactical and home defense in seconds. From black to camo and back. Now available on the MVP bolt-action rifle. For details, visit FletcherMossberg.com.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. Shopguntalk.com.
Who will you trust with your guns and valuables? Liberty safes are the best built and most secure safes on the planet. They sell more gun safes than any other brand. It's about trust earned through performance. If your Liberty safe is damaged by fire or attempted break-in, they'll send a new safe right to your home. Protection from thieves and fire. Trust the #1 maker of quality gun safes. LibertySafe.com.
Alien Gear Holsters, the most comfortable and concealable holsters on the planet, offers big savings with our new 2-holster combo. Buy 2 complete holsters for as little as $49.88. Choose any available holster styles or colors for the guns of your choice. Alien Gear's quality products are made in the USA and include a 30-day trial, forever warranty, and free shell trades for life. Visit aliengearholsters.com today.
You're at a gun store and your phone tells you about hot deals. Want to know about special offers? No problem when you have Gun Dealio, the free app for your smartphone. Gun Dealio delivers the latest deals on guns, ammo, and extras direct to your phone. Don't overpay for your shooting gear. Get Gun Dealio. It's free at the App Store and Google Play. Trigger the deals with Gun Dealio. GunDealio.com.
What's the best self-defense gun? It's the one you have with you. The Taurus Curve is the most comfortable gun you can carry, so you will have it with you. It actually curves to fit your body. Ultra comfortable, snag-free, made in the USA. Built in light and laser. 10.2 ounces of .380 firepower. Double action only. The world's first and only curved firearm. Details at TaurusUSA.com.
All right, Julie Golob is not only one of the best shooters in the country, she is one of the best known shooters through her efforts through social media, on TV, and every other forum you can find. You've been interviewed by practically everybody, Julie, including the general media. You might just tell people, Team Smith Wesson, for instance, just tell us, who you're shooting for. What kind of shooting do you do these days?
Sure. My primary sponsor, of course, is Smith Wesson. I'm serving as the captain of our shooting team of, our great shooters. And then I also represent Federal Premium, Benelli, and Safariland. And basically, I get to compete and travel all over the world at various different competitions. And I shoot primarily in the sport of action shooting or practical shooting, where it's kind of run and gun with handguns.
And were you just over in Europe?
No, that was last year.
Oh, it was last year. Time flies.
That was last year. Yes, it does. But we travel a good bit, and I've actually shot on 6 continents. So I don't think I'll get the 7th one, but it's a pretty cool thing.
We got to have a match in Antarctica. I think it would work out.
Yes, if you can make that happen, I will be there.
You'll be there. That's right. You can check that one off, and then you can claim all 7 of them. And you got into this through the Army Marksmanship Unit, AMU, as have a lot of shooters, a lot of top competitive shooters. Is AMU still going strong? Are they still cranking out shooters?
Oh, definitely. And I think that they'll always do that. But of course, Max Michel, Travis Tomasi, I was in when they were in as well. But they're still going strong and, of course, winning medals and Olympic medals and doing everything that they do. They don't call it the home of champions for nothing.
Yeah, no kidding. So give us an idea of, I mean, it's going to sound weird, but a lot of people want to know what it's like to be Julie Golob. I mean, because they think of you as just this person who shoots all the time, but that's just one of the many things you do. You're actually a really active mom, and I'd like for you to just touch on that for a sec. How old are your kids?
I have a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
They're both girls. And we stay busy. We have a small little piece of 20 acres, and we do a little farming, sort of, and keep busy and do fun projects and of course, shoot.
Right.
So we stay busy. And I kind of course, I like to think about my parents and how we grew up and everything and all of the things that they taught me, working with my hands and never being afraid of hard work. And so that is the stuff I try to instill in my daughters as well through little fun things that we do together. It's all good.
How old was your 7-year-old when you started her shooting?
5.
5's probably a good age, depending, on the individual, of course, but at 5 they can understand and they can follow rules as long as you have real close supervision.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we did, we talked to our kids about firearm safety quite a lot, but when we were confident that she knew and could understand the firearm safety rules, the 4 rules, that's when we felt that she was ready. So I don't really think there's a set age for it. But, every parent knows their child, and, some kids are super mature and some need to wait a little while.
All right. So we're at dinner last night with our daughter who is in her 30s, and she said, I remember people don't understand. We were shooting inside our house down the hallway. I said, well, they were BB guns. She said, yeah, but she said, we would just yell, all right, everybody stay out of the hallway. We're shooting the BB guns down the hallway into the bullet trap. I said, yeah, well, we did do that.
There you go.
Oh, boy. It's just, if you would you just talk for a second about the idea of being a professional shooter and what that life is like?
Sure. It's evolved a lot. I guess my first taste of professional shooter status was with the Army, but of course I was an Army soldier too, so
sure.
That was a little bit different. But when I got out of the military, that first kind of gig as a pro shooter was primarily just shooting, and that was, again, before social media really took off. Mm-hmm. And now it's evolved. Not only do you have to perform well on the range, but people are looking for, companies are looking for brand ambassadors. They're looking for not only someone who's going to talk about their products, but someone who believes in their products and, is someone that's going to be a face, whether it's at the range that you can talk to or somebody online. And it's much bigger than it was, 10, 20 years ago. It's
a marketing job as much as it is a shooting job, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And every company is different. Every company has different flares and ideals. And so I get this question. That's probably the number one question I get, other than how do I get started in shooting sports, is how do I get sponsored?
Well, yeah, that's the deal. And that is a marketing gig. First of all, you have to be a good shooter. Otherwise, nobody cares. And then beyond that, you've got to be a really good, talented spokesman. And you know what? You have to be able to work really hard and understand that it takes a lot of work to do it.
It does. It does. It's just like any other job. If you want to be the best at something, you have to work hard. And there are only, there are probably less than 25 people who are, making a living at this. So
there you
it's
go.
a tough gig.
Hey, Julie, thank you so much. I want to direct people to your website, Julie Golob, JuliGolob.com. We'll get you there, and you can find out what it's like. Follow Julie on Facebook and all the other things, because I guarantee you can find her out there. Be right back. All right, back with you. Let's go straight to the phones. Line 1, Chris is in Wichita, Kansas. Chris, what's up?
Hey, Tom. I was listening a few weeks ago when you had a story on about law in California keeping gun shops from putting up pictures of guns.
Right.
And I'm wondering if we could turn that around on the gun banners. They put up these signs trying to keep you out of places. Would we not be able to use that against them? The sign's now illegal, so why can't we carry?
Yeah, lots of luck. The problem is, of course, is the deck is stacked. It's California. Actually, I have high hopes that law is going to get overturned. I mean, it's certainly a First Amendment issue. But I like the way you think, as they say, and that would be fun. But sometimes you got to understand that, what might sound at least somewhat logical, if not just a whole lot of fun. In the case of California, that would go nowhere. But, Chris, I thank you for the idea and the smile. I really got a smile out of that one. Line 2, Walt is in Aztec, New Mexico. Hey, Walt, what's up?
Hello, Tom. I have several comments about the open carry. I see it frequently here. In fact, Friday when I was having breakfast at a restaurant around here, the guy came in and I didn't see any shock or adverse effects from the other customers or the employees. So
are you open carrying?
No, I don't. I don't open carry, but I'm happy to see there are people doing it. And
that's it.
And I mentioned.
Now, why do you think there's no particular reaction? Is it just that people see it enough to where it's not unusual?
Well, that's probably some of it, yeah. And this one particular restaurant, a lot of sheriff's deputies do eat there also, and of course some of them are plainclothes, and I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just we're part of the Wild Wild West here. I really don't know exactly. But,
I like it. I mean, I get out to Albuquerque a good bit, so I do like it out here.
Well, it sounds like you may have been at Frontier.
You know exactly where I was. That's exactly the restaurant where I was.
Yeah, and so I go there whenever I'm in Albuquerque. But I was selling your call screener. I was in a little over a year ago at a resort hotel in Scottsdale, Arizona, and a guy pulled up out in front of the Jeep and got out and came in. He was dressed kind of like a prospector. And here he was, open carrying, came into this resort hotel, and nobody giving him a second look either. And I approached the guy and I kind of jokingly said, "Well, I see open carry's legal here," and he sort of chuckled. He said, "Yeah." And I asked him if he'd had any complaints or anything from the management, and he said, "No, not a bit. No one." And there were a number of people in the lobby, and of course the desk was right there, and I didn't see any second glances or fear or signs of fear from anyone there.
That is a wonderful thing. And, of course, and for those who don't know, open carry has been legal in Arizona for a long time, and it's common. That's the other part of it. New Mexico, Arizona, it's common, and the more common it is, the less people are likely to react weirdly about it. They're not going to necessarily call the police, say, "Hey, there's a man with a gun." You do that in some states, and that's the call they're going to get, and then the police are going to roll out. Of course, Walt, thank you so much for the call. I've always said, look, the first question that a dispatcher ought to get is when they call and say, "There's a man walking down the street with a gun on," and say, "Well, okay, thank you for that report. Let me know if anything bad happens." Because if it's not illegal to do it, and sometimes they'll say, well, we have to respond to that. No. If somebody called and said somebody's walking with an umbrella, you wouldn't respond to that. Just as legal. We have to find out who it is. No, actually you don't. It's somebody who's doing something legal. You reported somebody doing something illegal. Leave them alone. Simple as that. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. What have you been shooting? What are you taking to the range? And what are your plans for hunting season? Same old gun? If so, different load? Or are you going to get yourself a new gun? Like to know what is on your mind, because the days are getting a little bit shorter. and the mornings are getting a little bit cooler. I do love this time of year. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk.